Good afternoon, ladies. How are you?
Fine.
Absolutely fine. I'm still
Yeah,
hearing Turks and Caicos, so I'm
you
having
are,
a good time.
darling. You are. I'm really jealous. Last episode, we were talking about thriving through the holidays and not just surviving. Um, and for those watching this episode, if you haven't seen that one, we highly encourage you to go back and watch that. But it got me thinking. And growing up, my holidays were, I knew we were at this one's house for Thanksgiving with these people. It was my mom's and stepdad's house for Christmas, and it was this group of people. And it was um, Easter was at this other house. And then I got married, and then you got the dynamics of trying to divide everything. And then there were children involved and the whole thing. And I was thinking about family dynamics and do you guys spend your holidays? How do I want to say this? Oh, well, I'll just say it with people because that's the way it's always been. Or have you ever made changes to the dynamics of how your family spends the holidays?
Ooh, I want to go first.
Look, she's all like, I think
Okay,
about it.
let's
She is.
hear it.
Let me go first. Yeah, so I did both of those things. So growing up, well, let's take it from after I had Megs. We did this whole thing every single Christmas where we shuffled within my husband's family from one house. Then the following year, it would be somebody else's house. Then it would be your house. And we just kept doing this, right? And we did this, I don't know how many years it was before we just went, nope, we're not doing this anymore because what it meant for all of us, all three families, was that you would get up in the morning, the kids would have to rip through their presents really quickly, which I am totally opposed to. They have to rip through their presents really quickly. You got to get something into your mouth before you leave because you don't know what's going to happen at the other end, and you got to get dressed and then you got to drive. Now for me, I for us to go to anybody's house, it was like an hour and a half's drive, okay, in winter conditions. Sometimes it was treacherous. It was like, what are we doing this for? And we would get there, and then again there'd be more ripping of presents and then trying to collect things at the end of the day. We would have, family dinner. It was chaos. That's what I remember the most, was that it was chaos, exhausting, and at the end of the day, you were just sort of more glad that the day was over with than you were
Mhm.
about, like, wasn't that an amazing day? Like, it was so
Mm.
great spending time together. It was like, not really. So we just one year went, we're not coming to anybody's house and no one can come to our house either. We are going to spend it on our own, just us, the family. And we waited for the backlash and it never happened. It never happened. They were like, really? I said, yeah, you know what? You guys can do
That's
the
an
same.
option.
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere either. You can just stay in your pajamas all day long. That was what we did the very first Christmas that we spent by ourselves. We stayed in our PJs all day long just because we could. It was a novelty. We took our time opening up presents, again, a novelty. We had breakfast when we wanted. We played with games that Meg's got for Christmas. We went for walks with the dogs. I mean, yes, we had the full turkey dinner. I love doing that. My family
Yeah.
loves receiving it. So that was good. But it just was a game changer. And I just said, that's it. We're never gonna do anything other than this. And we all agreed like it was just like the best thing. Meg was pretty young at the time, but she really appreciated just having mom and dad to
Mm.
interact with and not having to figure out all of these other people who you only see two or three times a year anyways. So yeah, it's just, again, in the previous episode, we talked about communication and how important it is to sit down and say, what is it that you want? I think it's also equally important to say, who is it that you want on that day? Right? Like, we invite people because, like you said, Michelle, it's something that we've done over and over and over again. or we feel it's expected, and we're just following some arbitrary rule that we've created in our head without really sitting down and going, you know what, this is about us, so like let's just make it about us. We'll go, if it's really important to see them, say, you know what, we'll come and see you in January, or we'll come and see you between Christmas and New Year's, or whatever, right? Like you can still include them, but that doesn't have to be on the day, because that's your day, that's your time to make really special memories and make the day count.
So Tracy E, I have a question for you. Now that
Tracy
Megs is, no,
Oh yeah. Oh me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
now that Megs is married,
Yeah.
how's that dynamic work?
Meg's. This is so interesting because Meg's has appreciated that intimacy within our family, that she wants to be a part of that intimacy with us. So it's just the five of us that have Christmas together. That's it.
So she does, there is no, as you call it,
Conflict?
backlash from her in-laws.
No, I mean, we are in an unusual situation in that her in-laws actually live across the pond. So
Oh,
it
okay.
isn't,
that's right.
it isn't like there is somebody
Okay,
that's
right.
like, you know,
Okay.
pulling on that. But I don't think it would matter. She would still say no to that. She would still say no. Like for her, and she is, and this is from her telling me, like, Christmas has to be with you guys and you guys always. Like, I want to continue the same traditions that I was brought up with, because they are really important to me. Because I've asked her, I've said to her, if you guys want to have your time, you're more than like, do it. Like, do what is going to make you happy. And if there's stuff that we're doing that no longer is any good, like let's not do it. But
yeah.
I mean, and I'm shocked at some of the things that really make her happy that we do together at Christmas, like things from when she was a little girl. But interestingly enough, so let me continue along this path of who we spend Christmas with and who we don't. So one of the traditions that got created as a result of us saying no, we're staying home, we're just going to be our own unit, was my husband's brother on the 26th, so Boxing Day. What he did was he said, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll have a family day for everybody on that day. And it was like, okay, that sounds great, right? And so we would go over to his place. And he has like a huge family. They got like kids, and their kids have got kids, and like it's just a really big family. And so we did that. We loved it. We loved going there every Boxing Day. It was fun. We got to see everybody. There was no stress. Everything was just a buffet. Everybody brought stuff to help out with that buffet. So it was like, it wasn't all on one person's shoulder. And we just had a great time. And then about 4 years ago, in the Christmas card that we got, it said, we are no longer doing Boxing Day. And I was like,
What?
I was like, what? How can you not do like? I look forward to Boxing Day. How can you not do Boxing Day? And I was like, wow. And then I sat back and I just thought, good for you. Like, if that's what you want to do, then great. And so I took it upon myself to call and say, okay, so it's really important to be with you guys at some point during the holiday season. When are we going to do that? And so we get together now after New Year's, usually the first weekend in January, and we'll have a dinner together, or we'll go out for dinner and we see them just before Christmas. And that's what we do now. But the point of it is that as much as it was disappointing for me that I was like, wow, we're not going to do that. Like, we've been doing that forever. It's still okay because it's their choice, right? It's still okay. And now it's an opportunity for me to do something special on that day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like still part of the Christmas season. What do we want to do? How do we want to do that 26th instead? Because we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think with I was just going to say, I think with COVID, it really now gives you an opportunity to go do I want to keep those traditions? Because there was a break for a couple of years,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And so it
That's
really gives
super
you
important.
an opportunity to look and ask again yourself whether this is how I want to spend the holidays.
Yeah, and not only asking yourself, but again asking the whole family unit.
Yeah.
You know, do we want to invite Aunt Sue, who's really too loud, to Christmas? Like, can we see
Yep.
Aunt Sue some other time? Right? Like,
Yep.
it is about creating those boundaries
Mm.
for this time of year, and we don't think that we have, I don't know, the right or the permission to do it. We think, oh, well, we can't do that because, it's the only time we see them. Well, that, like, you can make it some other time that you see them.
But hey,
Yeah.
here's my point too. If it's the only time you see them, then like, do you have a relationship with them?
Yeah, good
If it's the
point.
only time you see them and you're cramming
Good
them in,
point.
like, come on, like what?
Yeah.
Well, what about the rest of the year? Have you touched base or anything? And
Yeah. And that goes back to that, well, they're here by default. It's what has always happened, so they're here by default, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't want to be there either. That's the funniest part, right? Maybe they don't want to be there. But we've never given them the permission to say no.
Nope. Tracy G, what about yourself?
Well, that's we've done the same thing. We've always had, this is just what we do. I did it with my family. Like when I was growing up, it was certain things. We have it, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. Then we have two friend events between Christmas and New Year's. And we always have New Year's doing this. And so it's interesting because things have changed up. And so now we're looking at something different for our just before Christmas Day. We it's just the kids and us. Like we changed that a while ago, but
That's nice.
yeah, we're looking at who we're going to spend our time with. And so it's interesting we're talking about this because it's a bit hard because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but you also, I have limited time on earth. I am going to spend it the way I want.
Exactly. And and the other thing that you have to ask yourself is who are you? How do you show up when you have all these people around you that you don't really want to spend time with, as opposed to being with the people who you really do?
And
right?
I think
like
that's
there's that inner tension and conflict and all of those feelings that you're having.
I think the difference though is that
energy comes out.
It's not that you don't want to spend time with them. It's that you would prefer the dynamic that's created with this group of people, because maybe this group and this group and this group, it creates this not so great dynamic. And instead, like you said, you could do these separate things. And
Yeah. So I think what I'm hearing, and we've done this also, is the three of us are giving you all permission to do the holiday as you see fit. Because it was always like that in the past, doesn't mean that's how it has to be in the future. Spend it with people that you want to spend it with.
Which also creates the stress, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Going back to that last episode.
Yeah, you can't thrive. You're not going to have a good day. You're going to be looking for that perfection because, oh, Aunt Sally always likes, or Aunt Sally's going to make her, and I'm not picking on any Aunt Sally's.
Yeah.
I don't even have an Aunt Sally. Like Aunt Sally, did you hear Aunt Sally made a comment about Junior didn't eat all his string beans, or just that whole, like there's always that stress going on. If at the end of the night you have to sit there and pick apart what everything went wrong, you were spending it with the wrong people. Sorry. You were spending it with the wrong people. Spend it with the people that make you feel loved.
Yes. Good point.
That's a very good point.
On that note, we're ending.
Yeah.
So if you have changed your family dynamics, or how you or started a new family tradition, maybe it was due to COVID that was forced upon you and you decided to continue it, or you just decided, as Tracy E was talking about, like, no, we're not going to be doing that any longer, or even Tracy G, let us know. Put it down here in the comments. Would love to hear some new traditions, because we never know, like it might spark something interesting for the three of us. Also, don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to our channel, and also make sure you hit that button to be notified when the next episode comes out next Wednesday. Until then, have a great day.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.